Something that gets people talking at home, in their offices, on the road, in the markets. On the Big Three, we don't just bring you the headlines, we go beyond them. Every weekday, Monday to Thursday, join us as we critically review the three biggest stories driving conversations across Nigeria. From politics to policy, economy to everyday life. If Nigeria is talking about it, you'll find it on the Big Three. The Big Three, more than the headlines. It's where the conversation lives. Only on Nigeria Info 95.1 FM. The Big Three.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Thank you for staying tuned in and locked on your number one talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info. It's time for Hard Facts. And I bid you good afternoon with that. Okay. All right. My name is Somi. That's S-O-M-I, short for Somi. And we're just going to get straight into it this afternoon. Looking at the big three stories making the headlines today, Tuesday, the 17th of March, 2026. When we're done with that, we'll go to the other stories that didn't make the headlines. I get to play you some sound bites. That should happen between 4:30 and 5, after which we'll talk health and lifestyle. It's been quite the season, I think, for a lot of Nigerians, and it's important to always check in on our health. It's the first thing that we need to understand that is a gift to us. And so we're just going to talk about managing high blood pressure, some of the triggers and all of that. And that will take us till 6 o'clock, when we will then get to hear from you in terms of situation updates and eyewitness reports. So once again, welcome. Let's get straight into it. First story on the Big Three, as we all know, late yesterday evening, multiple bomb blasts went off in Maiduguri, and 3 key locations were hit. Speaking about the El Kanemi Monday Market, the gate of the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, and the post office area. I remember when I first saw the news, I started to scramble around to call for people who I knew were in that area, and it wasn't a nice thing to hear. You know, lots of fear, lots of apprehension in the voices of some of the people that I spoke to, and you know, just trying to make sense of it all. And one thing that was clear is that after a relative sense of peace that they had been experiencing, speaking about in Borno State and Maiduguri in particular, the people are very, 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 very unhappy with the way things have come back, talking about the resurgence of violence in Borno State particularly. And now, last week, the Defense Minister, Christopher Musa, had to summon the service chiefs, you know, to get an idea on the situation there. And this following the attack on Ngoshi, where many people were killed and over 100 people abducted. And even though the Nigerian military is said to have recaptured Ngoshi, abducted persons, including women and children, remain in captivity, only for people to be, you know, coming out of the fast during the period of Iftar yesterday when these bomb blasts broke out. And at least one of the 2 people I spoke to said they envisioned it as something of, or rather, their understanding of the attacks was it's a thing about their ideology that because it's a period of fasting and Ramadan, for them to be able to carry out these attacks, the suicide attacks, means more of a reward for them, so to speak. I'm talking about conversations that I had with people that live in the area. Well, a number of other victims that come out to speak. The death toll stands right now at about 23. as of this afternoon's report, and also talks about over 100 people injured, 108 people particularly, as at the time of the report that I read, right? Security agencies, including police tactical units and the military, were said to have been deployed to the scenes immediately, and the cordon of the areas swept the explosive ordnance disposal unit, swept by the explosive ordnance disposal unit because there were IEDs that had been detonated, one of them in a keke and a few others here and there. So after all of that, there are speculations as to who is responsible for the attack, as at the time of the reporting, like I said earlier on, no group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but there are suspicions that terrorists under the command of Ali Ngude, a Boko Haram commander in Mandara Mountain in Goza, could be responsible for the attacks because he has been known to deploy one or two suicide bombers not too long ago. Last year, there was one suicide bomber who detonated his vest, killing 5 soldiers in Goza. In 2024, this same Boko Haram commander, Ngude is his name, also sent out 4 female suicide bombers to various locations in Maraban, Goza, and Polka, killing 21 people and injuring others. So it seemed set to be more in his style, right? But the Nigerian army has come out to speak on the matter, raising an alert to say that with the attack yesterday, residents need to be wary because chances are that there may be more suicide bombers within the state. And so, they're coming out to speak on this one, saying that preliminary intelligence suggests that these attacks happened by the suicide bombers, multiple areas, and it has raised fears of possible additional threats within the city. And emergency response teams, including personnel from the state's NEMA and medical service providers, who evacuated casualties to the General Hospital, Specialist Hospital, and UMTH for medical attention, were on ground to ensure that, they did their best to manage the situation. But we're also getting reports from the army that the public are to remain vigilant, avoid crowded areas, and promptly report suspicious movements, unattended items, or unusual activities to security agencies, all while UBA is assuring residents that efforts is ongoing to stabilize the situation. Now, it's a bit of a hard call, I think, because this is, again, like we said, there's a lot of fasting going on. People gather, and this is something that these criminals have taken advantage of. People gather to break their fast and all of that. The president, also responding to this, has sent, according to reports, the service chiefs to move to Borno State to, get a handle on the situation. But the big concern here, in all of these issues is that we're seeing a resurgence in the attacks in this area. And more importantly is the fact that these coordinated attacks have been happening, in a couple of weeks in the build-up to this thing. Again, going back to what some of the residents in Borno State are saying, they are terrified. They had a period of relative peace, but then we're coming back to this. We're seeing attacks in Borno State and other parts of the northeast, and it begs the question when you see statements from the Borno State Commissioner of Police saying normalcy has been restored. What does normalcy look like in this case? What does normalcy look like in this instance? 23 people is a lot, over 100 people injured as well, and we're back here again asking the question: what more can be done? What more can be done, especially seeing as the Nigerian army is raising concerns that there may be more of these suicide bombers. And again, if you go by what one of the residents who I spoke to said, they're trying to take advantage of the period of fasting because of, whatever gains that they may seem to gain by carrying out this activity. So it's a lot going on, I think. And the president ordering that the service chiefs move to Borno State. It remains to be seen what can be done, if this is going to have any effect at all. Now, let's also bear in mind that we have had these attacks, which is basically on civilians, the average everyday resident in Maiduguri happen. But it happened shortly after there were attacks directly on military bases, if you will. Although the military has come out to say that those particular attacks were repelled, but you are having them happen back to back, okay? It's not just the everyday citizens now or the residents within the states that are being attacked, but also military bases within the area. And this, again, we continue to say, is showing the brazenness, the boldness of these terrorists, these criminals, and what have you. So, yes, while all of this is going on, we're asking the question, is this going to be enough? Okay, the security chiefs have been asked to move there. It remains to be seen if there's actually going to be that physical move there. And if there is, what is that going to look like in terms of results? What is that going to look like in terms of bringing back a sense of safety to the people in these areas that are affected? Now, Operation Hadinkai has been directly involved in security activities within Borno State, and they apparently came out and expressed condolences to families of the victims and reassured the public of its commitment to protecting lives and property while pursuing those responsible for the attacks. I also saw something along the lines of a coordinated show of force attack, and I don't know, given the spate of the attacks that we've seen happen and how often they continue to happen and how coordinated they seem to be, should we be looking more at a reactionary, as this is what it seems to be most of the time, reactionary response, or should we be looking more at a preemptive response in terms of our security agencies? That's the question, but let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at it again, look at the other stories, and get your thoughts. Stay with us.
Look that your ceiling can raise am. If you don't like am, then no be we make am. For Eminent Limited, our ceiling they last and it defines.
Security situation in Borno, attacks coordinated attacks that happened yesterday evening that were timed to maximize civilian casualties during the evening rush and Ramadan preparations and everything that has come out of that. Again, reports state, according to the Borno State Police Command, there's been a confirmed 23 deaths and 108 injuries. And if you're looking at the entire security situation as far as January to March, the first quarter of this year, just to make you understand why the question that I put forward, are we seeing more of a reactionary response as opposed to a proactive response or preemptive response, in terms of fighting security, especially in that state? Now, in January of this year, there was infiltration of Monguno by ISWAP terrorists, 25 civilians, 11 security personnel killed, and the impact was basically a case of heightened alertness in terms of security in Borno State. In February, there were attacks on resettled communities. multiple civilian casualties responded, over 600 individuals displaced, and this led to the disruption of the state's resettlement program. And between March 3rd to March 4th, there was a siege on on the Ngoshe-Goza axis. Over 100 women and children abducted, about 12,400 people displaced, and a forward operating base was overrun. This happened between 3rd to 4th of March. And so we're now having, for the second time this month, the triple bombings, with the reports stated, bringing an end to sort of a year-long sense of peace that seemed to have settled over the city. Now, if you're looking at the response by the state security architecture so far, Operation Hadinkai, which I mentioned earlier on, has very much been in on ground. They apparently have intensified airstrikes in the Sambisa forest and the Mandara mountains. And following the Ngoshi attacks, airstrikes reportedly killed over 50 insurgents. There's also been a situation around tactical reinforcement, as additional tactical assets and intelligence-led operations have been deployed to garrison towns to prevent the capture of military weaponry, which was a recurring issue in the attacks by the terrorists in January and February. And then following the Maiduguri blasts, we are having the police explosive ordnance disposal unit deployed to conduct sweep and clear operations to de-escalate the threat of secondary devices. Again, I'm not the military expert per se, but, looking at the military and tactical responses to all of these things, there seem to be more of, and this is not to say that perhaps there is no intelligence gathering and all of that happening prior to, but it just seems to be more of reactionary responses. But of course, we're going to open up the phone lines and get to hear from you, perhaps you feel differently about it. But if not, whichever side of the table you're on, the question still remains, can we sort of get a handle on this situation? It seems to be out of hand. And this is happening, when I say the fact that it's out of hand, this is happening despite the fact that we've had external security forces on, boots on ground. We've had airstrikes happening in Sokoto, I think, to eliminate ISWAP terrorists, but we're still not getting a handle on the security situation in the country. The Borno State government has attributed the urban attacks to desperation caused by the military's pressure on insurgent strongholds. However, the government's aggressive resettlement policy is under scrutiny as insurgents increasingly target newly returned communities. So you're having this constant barrage on the communities that are trying, they're using to resettle victims of this insurgency, probably from as far back as when it started, So all of this is going on. You're having the emergency services being integrated into a rapid response mechanism to manage the surge in IDPs, which is now put at over 12,000 new arrivals in March alone. In March alone, 12,000 new arrivals. So emergency services are working, around the clock to doing everything, including providing urgent blood supplies to hospitals in Maiduguri. So all of this is going on, but it does seem like, more is happening than what we can handle. So again, the phone lines are going to open. Let's get your thoughts on the security situation in Maiduguri. Of course, there's other things happening in parts of the country, but this particular situation happened yesterday evening. So we want to look at it in particular, especially seeing as this is a state that has been hard hit by this particular set of, well, I don't know if we can call them this particular set, because, there's been breaks and factions, as we are told. Boko Haram back in the day was just Boko Haram, and you had to deal with Boko Haram. Now we're hearing this faction by this and this faction by that. How do you think we can better handle the security situation in the country? The phone lines are opening right now, so let's get talking. And as I take your responses, we'll go and look at the two other stories that we have, and then just make do in terms of hard facts, the big three today. So let's talk. 0700951 0000 009 596 in terms of insecurity, especially in Borno State. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Auntie Somi.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, ma. This is Mazi Destiny Anthony.
Mazi, good to have you here. Go ahead, sir.
Auntie Somi, I think the Nigerian security challenges are actually beginning to, get to a point where we should just stop complaining or stop talking about it. The truth of the matter is that the people whose job it is, the people whose responsibility is the people who we are paying as citizens to protect us, their body language and sometimes their utterances point to the fact that they don't want this issue to stop. When you see them now, look at, they've used bombs. I heard that a few people died, over 100 people injured from what I saw online today. Now you are going to see the military go in, blah, blah, blah. Before you know it, they will tell us so people killed, eliminated, we recovered this. And I am here to see them show you pictures of who and who that they killed. But these people, we capture our own brothers and sisters who are serving in the army, eliminate them. In fact, most times even do the execution on live video, post their pictures on TikTok. These people are bad. They are no longer hiding their faces. They do videos, they show their faces. And the person who is our national security advisor came out and told us that these people are our brothers. That they were. So when somebody like that has made that comment, telling you that they are our brothers, to me, you can't kill your brother. I mean, I can't kill my brother or my sister. That is what it means. So it looks like we've gotten to a point where we just hands up. Let them just continue to have their way. Since we have a nation where we are now pampering criminals. But me now, if I make any careless statement here and at the next minute, they are ready to lock me up for 2 years or 3 years. But somebody should look at the other video I saw the other day. We have very expensive military this thing. They destroyed it and burnt it.
Okay.
Kill our own people and nobody touches them. I don't see hope to this thing. It looks like nobody should be talking about it, because when they come after you, he's going to defend you.
All right.
Thank you, Auntie Somi.
Thank you very much, Mazi. I mean, we cannot but talk about it. 23 people is a lot. And I also gave you the statistics concerning that state as far as the first quarter of this year. We're looking at well over 100 people kidnapped, still unaccounted for. We're looking at over 100 people injured. We're looking at the numbers dead. So we must keep talking about it, even though I understand your sentiment. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
My name is Adiola Victor from Duse, Alaji.
Welcome.
Truly speaking, Nigeria is at war with a non-state act of criminals who have decided to bring this country down. They have decided that there will be no peace in this country. And some people know them, but they try to hide them. If we continue to hide criminals, these vagabonds will not win this war. That's the truth. And look at the number of people killed and injured. Three coordinated attacks in Borno State. And the president has reacted, saying that more equipment will be brought to fight this insecurity. Why is our leaders always reactive? Their promise, and he has traveled out of this country with his political lesson. In a real democracy, such leaders of some country will postpone such to take care of domestic matters. But he has traveled abroad, and he has said that more equipment will be brought, and he has suffered more rights to be released to Nigerians to celebrate the Ramadan and the Christian something. You see, is our problem right? Any time there's a challenge or something like this, or we're talking of rights. Let's are tired of rights. So, you see, we cannot continue to do that. Women has come out and told the old world. The government knows them. But they don't know what to cover them. Maybe due to the next election. They don't want to step on toes. So, but look at our soldiers. Look at millions of Nigerians being killed. So, we cannot continue to hide criminals and continue to play bad games. Hide and seek game. Now the right is saying it should be released now. In fact, millions of bars we find our way into the warehouse of middlemen. This is our time now to shine. We cannot continue like this.
Okay.
So let government do the needful. Release the land on photo, go after them, locate their accounts, and kill these people once and for all.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, one would think even if there is no will to release the names of any sponsors, at least as much as possible, try as much as possible to prevent any of these attacks from happening. But then again, that brings us to whether they will be even concerned about doing that. Again, this is kudos to the Nigerian military, because you cannot say that a lot is not being done in that area. Just like one of the callers rightly mentioned, there have been videos that have circulated social media about the fight of our valiant military men, our armed forces and all of that. And then I think I've seen one or two where, one of them have come out to say our people are dying. So yes, there is that concern as well. So, I mean, barring the release of any names, can we at least support the fight to ensure that if there is a hiding kai somewhere, they are preventing attacks more? And of course, there have been some reports that say they have prevented some attacks, but can we prevent more of these attacks? I think the scariest thing is the way they are ramping up their attacks on some of these military bases. I think that, for me, says a lot. And, it remains to be seen if we're going to get more of a response, especially proactive as opposed to reactive. We're getting a lot in terms of reactionary responses, but can we see more proactive responses? Or is it that we're not seeing it? I don't know. I've had to ask myself this question at some point or the other. The intelligence operations are there. There's intelligence, there's word that is being received. This is because we've seen evidence of these alerts that are put out, whether it is by the DSS or what have you, and the other security forces, just like I read out today saying, they've come out to say that there may be more suicide bombers, planning coordinated attacks, especially if what the resident that I spoke to, what they said is anything to go by, which is that they're trying to leverage on this particular period of the Ramadan. So there is all that to consider. Let's go on to the next story, and then, of course, the phone lines will continue. We'll open them again, but just so that we get through the big three. Now, drama apparently ensued in a court. Oh, dear God. Drama ensued in a court, I think it was yesterday, I believe, that has led to multiple reactions from different bodies, different sources, where apparently a judge asked a lawyer to kneel down in court. Now we're having the NBA today coming out to condemn the attempt by Federal High Court Judge in Abuja, Muhammad Umar, who tried to subject a lawyer, Marshall Abubakar, to a stress position punishment. I've never heard of it called that before. You're asked to kneel down, basically, and you typically get that told to, students in school, children and all of that. But this happened in the court here in Abuja. Mr. Umar apparently ordered Mr. Abubakar to kneel down during a tense exchange between them, but the directive was resisted by the lawyer and ultimately halted following the intervention of other counsel in the courtroom. Premium Times had earlier on reported that the judge ordered Mr. Abubakar to kneel down in court after the lawyer repeatedly raised his voice during proceedings on Monday. The lawyer in question is the lead defense lawyer for Sahara Reporters publisher Omoyele Sowore, who is facing prosecution for calling President Bola Tinubu a criminal in his post via his X and Facebook handles last year. Now, yesterday's drama started after the defense lawyer concluded the cross-examination of the only prosecution witness. And then the prosecuting lawyer, Akinolu Kehinde, is SAN, announced the closure of their case and applied that defense be called upon to open their case. Now, when the judge asked Mr. Abubakar when they plan to open their defense, the lawyer said that the defendant will make a no-case submission and suggested that the court should adjourn until a date in July. Responding, Mr. Kehinde objected and argued that it was part of a defense dilatory tactics intended to further delay proceedings, and he suggested that the case be heard on a daily basis. Now, in his intervention, the judge said that while the prosecution was swift in conducting its case, the defense was tardy, spending 4 days in cross-examining the prosecution's only witness. The judge then said it was not feasible to hear the case on a daily basis, but directed parties to return on the 13th of April for the adoption of their final written addresses in respect to the no-case submission. This, of course, made Mr. Abubakar uncomfortable. Now, while Mr. Shure was addressing the judge from the dock on how the proposed date might affect his party's upcoming primaries, his lawyer also simultaneously began addressing the judge, narrating how his client was poised to wrestle power from President Tinubu. This court belongs to all of us, he said. This court is not for some people alone. It belongs to all of us. Now, he was yelling this, according to the reports, and all attempts to make the judge, or by the judge, to make the lawyer lower his voice were unsuccessful, which led the judge to say, if you shout in this court again, I will commit you for contempt. And he proceeded to say, in fact, come here, come and kneel down here. And he pointed to a spot in front of the courtroom. Now, on realizing the turn of events, other lawyers, led by the prosecution counsel, apparently jumped to their feet and began to beg the judge to forgive the lawyer. And while the lawyers were still begging, the judge then pronounced that the date will be adjourned. The case will be adjourned until 13th of April for adoption, and rose for the day. Now, of course, the NBA has come out to speak very, very, very harshly against this development, saying that it has implications for the dignity of the legal profession and the sanctity of the courtroom. The association said the courtroom is a temple of justice governed by law, procedure, and decorum. And it said judges can maintain order, but they must act within the law and recognize judicial standards. As far as punishments that can be meted out, it was explained that the judge can punish for contempt, but not proceeding to then ask a lawyer to kneel down. No matter how strongly felt, they must go through the proper legal channels and not disrupt proceedings or undermine court authority. Well, you can look at this statement going both ways because of what apparently was the conduct of Showere's lawyer and also the conduct of the judge. So yes, the judge, was sort of criticized for not acting with restrained professionalism and respect for the court, and at the same time, the lawyer himself. But I think this is the first I've heard. I don't know. Is this something that happens regularly in courtrooms? But the NBA is kicking very, very much against it, saying it doesn't speak well. You can call to order, you can punish, but telling a lawyer to kneel down, that's a whole different one entirely. Okay, that's the second story. I quickly run through the third one and then we go back to the phone lines. Now, I'm sure some of you may have heard, and if you haven't, just to let you know that the Super Cup himself was apparently acquitted of, what's it called now, his asset declaration case earlier on this month, I think the first week of this month. But there has been a new development in the case as a video featuring convicted drug traffickers Chibuna Patrick Umebe and Emeka Alphonsus Ezenwanne has been, presented in court, and it has proven to be a pivotal moment in the trial of suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCP Abba Kyari. Yes, again, like I said, he was recently acquitted in a separate case regarding asset declaration. His primary drug trafficking trial remains ongoing, and the video evidence that was presented in court apparently carries several heavy legal and procedural implications. Now, let's get a bit of a history. In April of 2025, the court ruled that the prosecution had established a prima facie case against Kyari, and in the video, which reportedly contains confessional statements by the traffickers, has now come to serve as a direct link between the physical narcotics and the alleged conspiracy involving Kyari's intelligence response team, IRT. Now, Kyari's defense has frequently argued that NDLEA itself was complicit, suggesting that NDLEA officers at Enugu Airport routinely cleared drug traffickers. Now, the video that was presented in court seems to show the traffickers stating the same case, talking about how they were sort of protected by the NDLEA, and then so their arrest by the police came as a surprise to them. But by playing the video in court, the prosecution is trying to show that the traffickers were working under the influence or protection of the IRT officers rather than just bypassing the NDLEA. Now, there's a bit of a conflict there. There may be a bit of a conflict, as if the video captures the traffickers admitting that they were surprised to be arrested by the police after being cleared by the NDLEA, it would then create a complex legal he said, she said matter, especially regarding which the agency was actually protecting the cartel. Now, the what they call the lawyers for Abba Kyari, gained some sort of momentum after Kyari was acquitted from the asset declaration case. But this video now is presenting a complexity in itself. Now, because the two traffickers in the said video already pleaded guilty and were sentenced in 2022, their statements in the video are no longer mere allegations. They are now testimonies of convicted co-conspirators. And under the Nigerian law, while the confession of a co-defendant should be treated with caution, it becomes powerful evidence when paired with other materials like the NDLEA's recorded sting video of Kyari. Earlier on the trial, Kyari's team attempted a no-case submission. We're hearing that again for the second time, arguing that the NDLEA hadn't provided enough evidence to warrant a defense. Now, the judge's rejection of this, also bolstered by such video evidence, means that Kyari is now legally compelled to provide a superior explanation for his interaction with these traffickers and the handled cocaine. Now, this is just by way of an update as far as what is happening in the trial. I remember seeing at first what they call it now, clickbait, about how he had been acquitted. And so, it got my attention, sort of peaked. And so I went to go and do some more digging just to let you know that was a separate case. But in this one now, the stakes have increased, especially with the admission of this video. But it remains to be seen what happens. Some people have asked, why was he acquitted in asset case? Well, the asset declaration case was focused on whether Kyari had failed to disclose ownership of several properties, such as shopping malls, residential estates, and farmlands, and bank accounts containing millions of naira. And Justice Omotosho ruled that the NDLA failed to provide credible evidence linking Kyari to the specific properties mentioned. For instance, a supposed property, or rather a property in an estate in Abuja, was found to belong to his wife, and another in Borno State was shown to be an inheritance from his late father. So these are some of the technicalities that were able to make him get away on it. As a matter of fact, the judge described the NDLE's case as persecution rather than prosecution, stating that the agency relied on assumptions rather than documentation or proof of possession. So yes, in terms of that asset declaration case, which he was acquitted on, it was a matter of basically paperwork and ownership. It did not touch the actual events of the cocaine deal, that trial, which is still ongoing. Now let's go back to the phone lines and hear more from you. 3 stories shared so far. Let's talk. 0809-597-4869. On WhatsApp, 0809-993-0137. Good afternoon.
Hello. Hey.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
It's one of those things. Sometimes when we wake up, we hear a different story. The day we wake up, we don't hear a story in our country. Well, we thank God for everything. Look at what's happening in Borno State. And one thing that even surprised me most, it surprised me most is that, the president is, the UK invited him to come to, the king invited him to come, right? And now, guess what? Now, the National Security Advisor is there. The intelligence officer is there. The NSA, all of them, but all of them are there. Then, yes, another one. The governor is in Ash in Saudi. The governor is in Ash in Saudi. Now, who is there? The vice president is from Borno State. Maybe he will go there. No, this is one of those things we're experiencing in our country. It's so sad that there is no way, it's very unfortunate that there is no way we could solve this problem, because they don't have any way that this problem can be solved. Because anybody who have how this problem can be solved, they can do something massively and to see how this problem will solve quickly and carry this war to these guys, to these criminals. I know our militaries are trying, but they're not trying enough. They have to push more effort, because those ones leading them are not encouraging these guys to take this war to where these guys, because they have camp. They don't have camp in space. They don't come from the space to come launch attack and run back. They're operating between our boundaries, between our borders, wherever they are. They shouldn't be able to move in and dismiss these guys and put these criminals out of our way. So I don't see no reason why I will continue like this. I like person like me. I will say one thing. I know the trend of national security advisor because I don't like that guy said. Honestly speaking. Because I don't see a national security advisor will be putting Baba Liga. I don't like politicians when things are so serious. People don't show commitment and seriousness to solve a particular issue. I know they said they don't want to bring this thing because I strongly believe that it's APC that brought these guys to support them in doing body resume.
Okay.
That's the truth. So the truth is, they have to find solution to solve this issue.
All right.
They have solutions to these issues to be solved. Have a nice day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I had to double check. I know that I had seen concerning the president leaving, departing the country for the UK on what has been termed a historic visit. I know that, as is usual, there were a number of people who were at the airport to see him off. But it's interesting, the names that you mentioned as a delegation going with him. I'm going to double check the information that I have double checked now, just to be sure. It is a high power delegation indeed, and seen as the conversation is supposed to help with some signing of key agreements that would deepen bilateral cooperation. I don't see anything on this visit as far as security is concerned. So again, like I said, I'm going to take this time out with the commercial break, double check the information about the NSA being there. And I also saw something about the Minister of
More
Sports.
news and
But yes, we'll come back after the break.
in a moment.
Your Let's Talk station.
95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Welcome back to Hard Facts.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We're going straight back to the phone lines to hear from you on the three stories we've shared in the Big Three today. We started by looking at a situation in Maiduguri, and the question was, how can we be more proactive in ensuring that these attacks are reduced to the barest minimum? There has been an entire angle to how the attacks have been done, both on civilians and the military bases. And I don't know, we're just speaking to each other, trying to make it make sense as to how we can do more on ensuring that these attacks stopped. We also looked at the situation with the Abakari case. Yes, we looked at that one, where convicted drug traffickers have spoken on their arrest in a video clip played at the court, and what that would mean for the case, if anything at all. And then we also looked at the story, excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, three stories we've looked at, run through two of them, and we're taking your calls and contributions. So let's just get back to you. 0700951 0000, 0809-597-4869, and on WhatsApp 0809-993-0137. Ibrahim's message just before we went on the break, talking about how our security services can pick up the bomb pieces of the devices, analyze them, and then track them basically to where they came from so that it can help. His second suggestion was they should mount more secret surveillance and establish possible routes of movement between where the suspected suicide bomb kingpin lives and the larger community. And he has spoken to something which is, of course, of great importance, and that is intelligence. We can't speak to that enough. So yes, that story also came up, and then also the story about the judge who asked a lawyer to kneel down in court. Those are the three stories we looked at today. Let's talk. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Somi.
Welcome.
Maskman calling from Apple.
All right.
You see, we are not proactive enough, our security agencies. Neither are we reactive enough, because if we were to be reactive enough, these people, when they started, they were not attacking military base. But you can see they are growing wings, maturing to be attacking our military bases. So we are not proactive enough, neither are we reactive enough. And then let us first of all look, how did all these things started? It started with Boko Haram. And what is Boko Haram? Western education is forbidden. The same Boko Haram breeded bandits, cattle rustling. Like we say, there have been clashes between herders and farmers before, so I will not add that. You see, these people are after an agenda. That is why those who know them and those who are in authoritative position are protecting them. They are being protected by some group of people. That is what is happening.
They may think they are fooling with Nigerians, but they cannot fool all of us. They cannot never fool all of us. And not until those who are protecting them are brought out, this whole thing will continue going on.
Okay.
If we really want to put an end to this insecurity, those who are protecting them should be fished out and dealt with accordingly. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Good afternoon. All right, call me back. Hello.
Good afternoon, Somi.
Good afternoon. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, this is Mr. Gideon, voicing us from Wagwalada.
Welcome.
Mr. Somi, is very laughable and ridiculous that a judge asks a lawyer to kneel down. What a country are we? This Akiampo pause film is getting out of hand. Imagine, can a principal tell a teacher to kneel down? That is total madness. I would advise that the CGN, they should sack that judge, remove him for this mess. It's total mess. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much, sir. We're still taking your thoughts on your contributions. Let's talk, people. I see some messages here. Okay. This one, Super Cup Abakiari's case for me is a no case because of its complexity. There's no clear evidence against him, therefore it's dead on arrival. It's so sad that the best of our officers are being treated unjustly. Kashim Issa Adaji from Maraba with that one. Good afternoon. What happened in Borno State yesterday was unfortunate and must be checked by all security measures. Honestly, the insecurity in the northeast and northwest is completely not acceptable. I believe Nigeria as a nation can end all of this if we have leaders who are ready to end it. What is stopping the full prosecution of those terrorist sponsors that the UAE sent to Nigeria during the late President Buhari's administration? What is stopping the current president from doing the needful concerning the report? What exactly is our strategy as a nation in the combat against these terrorists and bandits? Waiting for them to continue to attack us is not working in our favor. Our security agencies should get correct and confirmed intelligence of where these evil monsters stay and eliminate and bomb that location once and for all. I equally think it's high time we start using technology to fight these terrorists and terrorism and banditry happening in Nigeria. Welfare of serving security officers should be top priority, and those who paid the ultimate price, their loved ones, should be taken care of properly. Finally, all the former security chiefs since 2009 should be called by the president to help him know what his next step should be. Enough of this sitting down approach to watching while Nigerians, including our security officers, get killed by these monsters. Patrick from New Cairo with that one. Thank you for your message. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Somi.
Welcome.
Okay. Well, my own is about the in Nigeria. It all started when they start this program of repentant Boko Haram. I said it. How can you say somebody is repenting? I can't even factor my head on it. How can you say somebody that has been killing, spilling blood? All I know is agenda. Even the leaders, they know about it. You know, including the former president. Why should you allow the president to go and infiltrate the army? That is why you see they are attacking the army anyhow, left, right, and center, without they are emboldened because they have their members within them that tell them their army strategy. That is why. Not until they stop that program, try to even take the ones that are there with them now. This thing will never stop. And you see, before you and I, they will defeat our army. I'm telling you, except the disturb. What do you mean by repentant? I don't even get. You understand? Sorry, I'm very sorry. I don't even want to say it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Hello? Okay, call me back. I'm guessing it's your network. I have a voice note here. Let's play it.
Good evening. This is Danliti from Mido. Say good evening to you in the studio and all listeners and contributors. I want to say, I remember vividly last week, I was talking about hammering on this, that the window that we had that last week without hearing any attack, that is just a deception. And there is nothing special that is being done. You understand? The next time we will hear about these terrorists is will be heavy. That the military should sustain whatever they are doing, and if they are not doing anything, they should start. You understand? That the window we have in is for us to regroup, because they also are regrouping, and before you know it, they will attack, and the attack will be heavy. You understand? That we should sustain the effort and put them on their toes, unless they hit the terrorists. You understand? Very soon they will come out with something bigger. I remember last week I was saying it, because they are evil, and we have them. We already know that we have them. Even if they are quiet, we should know that that is the time for us to deal with them. And I remember I said that they are also humans. They have blood running in their veins. You understand? There is a way we can also. They have a soft spot that we can hit hard on, that will make them to yield. But look at, we went sleeping, and now they caught us. We should be proactive. We should not always wait for them until they attack. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I think your voice note acknowledged the fact that there has indeed been some sort of how would I put it now, push. And I'm going to attribute that, I think, to Operation Hadinkai, who is on ground in Borno State. But despite that push, I think from what you said, at some point they relent. It's not easy, because I can imagine that you would think that you have attained some measure of normalcy, and that should allow you relent to some extent. But from what you're saying, we have to keep at it. We have to keep at it. And that might not be such a bad thing to do, especially since these attacks have been coming very, very frequently since the beginning of this year. Thank you for your message, sir. While we're saying that, we're hoping that our armed forces and security men have the wherewithal to be able to sustain these pushes against these bandits. Again, like we said, in some instances, they will repel some attacks, but these bandits keep coming. I say bandits, these terrorists, they keep firing, and so we should keep doing that. May God give us the wherewithal, give them the wherewithal to continue to sustain those attacks, I would say. All right, let's take a few more messages. I have this voice note here. Okay.
Auntie Somi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Triple D, sending this voice message right now from Waru. Auntie Somi, let me tell you the truth. Our leader are deceiving us, but it has gotten to a stage now that they are not deceiving us, they are rather deceiving themselves. Whether they want to buy any military whether they want to buy weapon for military, whether they want to, anything they are talking, they are just deceiving themselves, because they are the problem, because they occupy position telling Nigerians they will solve this particular problem. And today, they claim they don't know the root of the problem. So if they like, they should bring all the weapons that United States of America have to Nigeria. They won't achieve it because they are the problem. They are the problem. Have a nice day and God bless you. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, Triple D, thank you for your message. Leo says the lawyer should have been charged for contempt rather than being asked to kneel down. Speaking on the case of the judge there. Elder Bosu from Yaya says it's not surprising that the judge asked the lawyer to kneel down. His action was to be by the side of the president, since it's a case between a critic of the government, sure, a funny country. Okay, let's see. Okay, we've got this one here. Let's play it.
Hello, good afternoon, Somi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hope you're doing fine. Well, I think at this juncture we have come a long way, a very long way. Almost 15 years of consistent battle. I don't think it is a good thing, no matter how we want to look at it. Consistently, we are losing our veterans. Consistently, we are losing innocent civilians. Consistently, our nation is being brought to a very bad light as a result of this consistent Boko Haram, ISWAP, Black Rawa, or whatever you may name the terrorist groups. So, left to me, at this juncture, Nigeria as a nation should be able to sit down and ask itself questions. What exactly do we want? If there are people agitating for an Islamic republic, why don't we sit down and see if giving them that Islamic republic is what will solve the problem? Let the country be divided along religious lines. 90% of the people who want to become Muslims and are amenable to this idea of Islamic State should go to the north. Why Christians in the north who don't appreciate living in an Islamic enshrined enclave should come down south so that let peace reign. This endless waste of human lives has come one too many. Please, my name is Iboneku. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Hello? If you could turn down the volume of your device and try calling me back. Thank you very much. Laraba, we see your messages concerning the app, and it's been escalated immediately. Thank you so much for letting us know. We'll also see about your recommendation considering the YouTube stream. Sorry about the inconveniences, but just to let you know that it's been escalated and the engineers are working on it. Good afternoon.
Hello? I'm John Ukaba.
Could you turn down the volume of your device, please?
In Valeria Council.
All right.
It is very, very unfortunate what is happening in this country. When the APC took over from PDP in 2015, the things just changed. The change that we're experiencing, Boko Haram has taken over, unoperated has taken over, our leaders don't care what's happening in the country. People are dying every day. Go to Benue State, go to Plateau State, Zamfara, Meduguri, everywhere. There's nothing. What are they doing? Now they bring themselves to their country, to reach another country. People are dying on daily basis. Is this how his father, a good father used to do? Your house is on fire and you travel. What do you expect us to do? We are praying to God save this country. APs has failed Nigeria workplace. We should remove them from the government in 2027. Let the other parties come together as they did to PDP in 2015. Let them remove them from government. If not, they will not be going to call Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. All right, let's take the final call for this segment. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Somi.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Alex. I'm calling from Wuye.
Okay.
Actually, on the insecurity in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say this. I don't think we have any end in sight because of the kind of the approach of the government. The government have not shown any interest in fighting insecurity. Rather, I will want to say that they are massaging it. You cannot have this kind of insecurity. There is no there is no roadmap on how we are going to stop this. What we hear every day is all about politics, 2027 defection, and what have you. There is no concrete thing that you see or hear as a citizen to know that they really want to fight this insecurity. And the way it is going, because the morale of our military and security agencies are getting down, the way it's going, if nothing is not done drastically, I am afraid of Nigeria. Because when the government seems that they don't know what to do again, because that's what it's appearing to be. During the time of Jonathan, at least the wife was even crying. People were making jest. You will see some level of genuineness. Now, from Buhari till now, there is nothing to show that this thing is a problem. Today, the president is in UK and they are celebrating him. That what we have not done in no president has done it in 37 years. That they receive him and stuff like that. Is that something that when your country is in tatters? So for me, Nigerians are already in trouble, and it's only by divine hand of God that will save us. Then on the lawyer that was told to kneel down.
You have 30 seconds,
honestly,
sir.
If I'm that lawyer, I will not kneel down. Let heaven fall, because this is someone's grandfather. This is someone's father. And you are telling him to kneel down because you are sitting as a judge, not because of anything, because you are so angered, or maybe because of his stand or whatever. You can tell him there are other things you can tell him than to tell a full-fledged man to kneel down.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I did say I was going to check and double check concerning the delegation that went with the president at such a critical time, as a number of people have mentioned on this historic 2-day visit to the UK. So yes, I did check, I double checked, and while you have, some people who may not necessarily be surprising to see their names on the list in the presence of the Senate president, there's also Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Wale Edun, Jumoke Oduole is on that list as well. Malam Nuhu Ribadu is the name I wanted to double check. And yes, the NSA is on that delegation. It's currently in the UK, alongside the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, and also the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, the NIA. Yes, so, while some people may say, given the critical nature of what is happening in the country at the time, even if the president could not postpone this meeting, some of these people today really need to be there. Well, I did some further digging, and apparently their goals, one of the strategic goals of this meeting is to strengthen cooperation on counterterrorism and legal migration framework. So that's possibly why you have the NSA, the DG of the NIA, and the Minister of Defense on that team. There's a number of other people there. Minister Hanatu Musawa is there as well. And let's see, Dele Alake on the Minister of Mining and Mineral. It's a high-power delegation indeed. 2 days, and they will be back. Perhaps a lot can also be coordinated, despite the fact that they are there. Again, I understand certain concerns about the security, the top security bosses in the country being in the UK at a time as this, but that is what we've seen, that is what we have. And I need to go on a commercial break. Thank you so much. I'll be right back.